Good morning, everyone. It's Miss T. I hope you had a good night and you slept comfortably. You woke up in good spirits, spent some time with the Lord, and ready for your day. Today, I wanted to discuss was I don't remember the day that Cat Williams was on. Is it Shay whatever his name is show, and he talked about what was coming in 2025, and I believe he was referring to people in the industry. So that got me to thinking. First of all, how did he how did he have that knowledge? And it made me think about other things that have come to light. So we know how that all happened. They talked about Sean and all the horrible things that he had been involved with, and a lot of other people that were involved with it also. But I guess they weren't the leaders or whatever, or I don't know if there's more to come. But have you noticed that now you can see there's different vitamins and supplements and herbs that you've never heard of before that you can cure your diabetes naturally. You can take this and all these remedies that we have. Where did these come from all of a sudden? Were they growing them somewhere and just all of I mean, I'm glad they're out there, because if that's the case, you would rather have natural remedies than take medication. But it just seems like it came along all of a sudden. We had all kinds of different, like I've never heard of, and I went out and bought most of it because I wanted to really read it and know what it was. Like I think it's called, it starts with S, sop or something, black castor oil, Jamaican castor oil. That's supposed to be good for skin and hair, and there's all kinds of turmeric. And so what I wanted to know is, were they working on all these at the same time, or is there some kind of time, like we know that the government is ran by people. We might not know who those people are, or we speculate who those people are, but is there a time that they say we're going, when they want us to take our minds off of a certain thing, put our minds on something else, because now people are trying to get healthy, eating better, taking these supplements, herbs, instead of the medication, which brings me to another conclusion that I'm not going to bring up right now. But it just seems like things just pop up all of a sudden. We don't know where it came from. We just know about it now. So, and then people pass it on. So they give us what we need to see at that time. So the last that I known about the Ukraine war, it was still going on. I don't know if that's the case now, because I don't see it in the news. I don't know what's going on with Russia, China, or any of those things. So I want, so my mind just goes back to who the people that are controlling the world must believe that in order to have us not be concerned with certain things, like ask too many questions or think about it too hard, they have to put something else in our face to focus on, and distractions. That's what I want to say. Distractions. So, was this all planned out? Did Kat know about him because they knew there was going to be some big distraction? Because this has taken, has it been a year or more? I don't know, but this one thing has taken forever and has been in the spotlight forever. It's taken over the newsways. It's in every part of, if you want to watch the news or watch TV or whatever, that's what they're showing. And so I get skeptical because I just don't trust. What is it that we don't, what is it that we're not supposed to be focusing on? Because of course that's important to have him committed if he was doing crime. And what I mean by crime, I can't judge any other thing because what it sounds like to me is that they were all willing participants. I'm only concerned with the children, if there were children involved, which they say there wasn't. I don't know. But so if you want to convict him or whatever, but it seems like is too much emphasis on this situation for so long. I don't even remember the other men. I don't even did they have a trial? I don't even remember what happened in their cases, and if they even had to go through what he's going through. So is it, we're not privy to the information because it's from the higher people, and then maybe they have some certain people to leak certain things out so we can get curious and get interested and wait for it to come. So this thing that is being done over here, we're not even paying attention to. What is happening to the people in Ukraine? The children, I know they said they had bombed a few hospitals. What is happening in Iran, Israel? What's going on over there? They don't show us those things, and that's an important war that we should be paying attention to. If you read your Bible, you will know why that is important for us to know the meaning, the reasoning for that war. But I just want people to it's not to make you worry or be afraid. It's just you need to be aware of certain things. Like certain things don't get so attached with with entertainment, because that's what I call it. It's entertainment. So that you're not being educated. And I'm going to use that term every time, because if you are over here, I bet we know every woman who has sued Sean, every star who was named at his parties, just everything about the case. But do we know I, what is happening in the wars? What is Trump? Is Trump what even side is Trump on? I don't. Who is he? I know he had a meeting with uh, one of the was it China's leader, and the man made a joke like, you'll be over in Korea or having playing golf with whatever the Jong, whatever his name is. So they even know that it's not, because I don't think we're supposed to be allies with Korea. I don't know, but we're not in. And maybe we shouldn't even be in politics. Maybe we shouldn't even worry about it. What for? We can't. We don't make any laws. We can't change anything. Um, um, so what? Why worry about it? If you believe in the Bible, if you believe in God and His Word, He already has stated what is going to happen in the end times. He did say there will be wars, talk of wars. He did say that there will be, diseases and pestilence and drought and famine and all those things. But what people don't understand is they think that when he says these things, they think how can America have a famine, which it could if we're not above anyone else. Matter of fact, if you go over to other countries or read about other countries, America is below. America doesn't even have pride anymore. Well, I don't think they ever did, but I was watching because I always like to know when new things come around what happened or why it came about. And I've noticed that a lot of Americans move over to other countries, and a lot of black people are moving to different countries, and one of the countries is Dubai. So I just wanted to learn about Dubai. What's over there that, and I'm not talking about the seedy part of Dubai. I'm talking about just how they live day to day and what it makes it so much better than the United States. But they have pride in it. You cannot, there's certain things that you cannot do, that you just don't, they don't even allow you to throw trash on the ground. So if you go over there, you're not going to see areas over here that look like slums and then nice place. The whole country looks like that because they take pride in their people and how they live. We just let people. We have the money and the resources, but we rather spend it on wars, other countries, than our own people. So we have people living on the street. We have places that look like third world countries. There are people starving in America. Children aren't getting education. Their health care, they can't afford health care, so kids aren't going to the dentist. It's just all kinds of stuff. And we're supposed to be the great USA, and Trump wants to make it great again. And when was it ever great? Because if someone can let me, maybe it was at one time or another. I don't know when that would have been, but any country who considers itself the land of opportunity, freedom, and all these wonderful things should not be being having people want to leave for a better place. Anytime people think Thailand is a better place to live than the United States, there's a problem. We're the laughing stock. Everybody, the United States is the greed and all the things, the underhanded things, and all the things that have gone on all through the years are now taking its toll, have taken its toll, and United States has no respect from other countries. They don't even want to. They will align with the United States because we have a pretty good military and stuff like that. But as far as thinking that America is the place to be, it's not. People used to, try to get over here, and they still do because some places are still. America's still better to live in than some places, but like the border. But you won't see people from other countries, just France and all, trying to move to the United States. I don't even know if we still have a tourist, if our tourists still have the same amount of people. Like the other countries have beautiful places to look at. It's clean. It's just, and then when you come over here, it's like, where compares, what compares to those countries? Disneyland. They have one too. So while we're over here and we're Americans and we know the real deal, because this isn't the land of the free by no means. But yeah, you're supposed, because you live here, I suppose, that you're supposed to take pride in where you live. But no, but one person, two people, a group of people cannot be the only ones who take pride. I mean, it's depressing. You take, I watched the show where the man drives from city to city, and what he does is goes to the worst cities in the state, and he just drives around. And I could not believe how people are living in 2025. It looks like a there's trash everywhere. There are houses that have been halfway burned down or boarded up, and they're just standing up by a plank, and they're just there. Eyesores. The roads are full of potholes because I guess no one cares, and so the money doesn't need to go to fix those. Some of the streets look like ghost towns. The downtown is just nobody there. It's just one gas station on a corner. It's depressing. And this is the great USA. Who can strive? Who can grow? Who can build and become something coming out of that type of situation where you look around and you see nothing but despair? But they're not going to show those things on national TV unless they do a documentary, but they don't really do that anymore. And you know what, people, YouTube, social media has a lot of hurtful, bad things that they have on it, but there's a lot of good things. give you good information and stuff you can find. And they also have a show where they go around talking to the young black youth in each different cities, and the main thing that they say is there's no jobs, and that's how they can live. But it's sad for them to talk about understanding that they may not live to their 20s or whatever, and for a young man to accept the fact that he might not make it into his 20s is a sad thing. It's almost saying that, like, they don't care. I mean, they don't mind if they don't, because this is the life that they've got, and that's how they live it. That's like they have no choice but to live their life like that. They don't have any goals or anything to look forward to, or anyone to show them that there's something better, and that they don't have to. Just because something happened 10 years ago, 5 years ago, doesn't mean it has to happen today. When can you say, okay, enough is enough? We don't need, this has gone on so long, and what has it gotten us? It has gotten us a lot of families torn apart, mothers sometimes losing 2 and 3 sons at a time, babies not having their fathers, and just a lot of pain. So when do we say this has to stop? We don't want to see this anymore. We don't want our young men to go through this, and then we demand that there's employment, education, and schooling, and teaching people how to read, and teaching people a trade. But I guess if that's not a priority in your community or in the world, in the country that you're in, then those things aren't going to happen. And I will say again, we're too busy fattening other people's pockets so that we can look like we are, successful, because we think the clothes makes the person, when you should really believe that you make the clothes. Your clothes do not define your personality or your character or your intelligence or your passion for arts or anything. All it does is makes you look good, and probably makes you feel good because you look nice. And then you're going to go back to what you were doing so that you can continue to dress like that. And what kind of life is that? That's not a, I don't know how that is any kind of life to live or to be excited about. We're still far behind, and I pray someday that some people will look up, just say the right person. I'm gonna say the right person, because it only takes a spark, but it has to be the right spark. It has to be a spark that everyone wants. Ooh, look at it has to be that type of spark to get people to start moving and shaking and making changes. If we can, if Black Americans can shut Target down and make them lose $12 billion in 1 year, you can shut Nike, Jordan, all of the shoes down. You can shut all of the music down. You can shut just about everything else down. And then when they have their pockets are, when they're complaining to the higher ups that their money is not, they're have lost money and they're going to have to file bankruptcy or whatever, and someone has to decide what is the issue. Why are we no longer shopping with them and we are giving our money to our people? Then they'd have to listen. They wouldn't care about, really what our what our demands were, or what we're trying to get changed, just as long as it puts money back in their pockets. So you have to fight fire with fire, because what is the fire? Money is rules everything. And people will listen if you take their money away. They don't care if they eat. But if you mess with their money, that's a big problem. And so, but we just can't get it together. We just can't understand that the power that we have, we first have to understand. If we don't come together, the power's not going to be there, because half of it, because it's not going to work if we're not all on the same page, if we're not all working for the same goal. I know that for some people, this era is just, they just want to live and just be left alone and just be able to live their life in not have any problems. And I understand that, because I believe once you get, if you get labeled as a troublemaker, or if you get put on their list, it can cause you to have it can mess with your life pretty much, because they don't want you to rile or stir any other people up to possibly cause this. And it's been over through history. And that's why we don't have some of the leaders that we had before, because they were sparking a flame in the people. They were giving them a sense of pride and letting them know that this country is our country. We built a majority of the country, and we're not African Americans, we're not Native Americans, we're not whatever Americans, we're Americans. They don't call white people white Americans. So why do we have to have a label? Well, the label means you're not really here. You're not here. You're not really, this country really doesn't belong to you, because you're not from here, is what they want to say. And that's why we have that label. But I believe Jesse Jackson gave us that African American name. I don't know who gave him the authority to sign a paper, because I surely didn't say I wanted to be called an African American. I'm an American, and so is everyone else. But until you start acting like you're an American, nothing is going to change. Because we almost kind of let them treat us like we're visitors. Like, like people are saying, oh, Trump's next, he's going to be trying to deport us back to Africa. He can't, we're not from Africa. You can't deport a group of people somewhere that they don't belong. So if that was the case, wouldn't that take quite a bit of time? Because now you can't just put us anywhere. Don't you have to put us in the land that we're from? So you would have to do DNA and determine if we're from Sudan or Nigeria or Kenya or what. So were you just going to pick a place and just dump us all there? We are not Africans. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. But we were born here. And we have the right, just as many rights. We have all the rights that everybody else has. We get treated worse than the people that have migrated over here 4, 5, 6 years ago, or who come. We get treated worse than them, and we've been here building railroads and towns and underground sewage, everything. We get no credit for it. We all the great people that have invented things or has helped to build, they sweep that under the rug. They don't put them in the forefront. You'll know about Betsy Ross. Betsy Ross, she sewed a flag. Betsy Ross was more important than Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, any of those women. So until we decide that we are Americans, it's been long enough that we've been treated like guests. No, I'm not even going to say guests, because some people treat their guests, better. They're trying to. So we're treated like orphans. Yeah, that's a better word. We're orphans, because when you're orphans and people know that you don't have anybody to back you up or behind you or care about you, they treat you bad, because there's nobody going to be held accountable for it. But my main thing is, there's nothing wrong with entertainment. You like to, get off of work and you had a hard day at work and you want to look at things that make you laugh, and there's nothing wrong with that. But make sure that it's not taking over your entire day life, that you don't see what else is going around, that you're not confused or being led astray, because it also, during the last days, people are going to be you're going to get people that you think are just the most wonderful people. They're going to come and show you things and tell you things and make you feel like they're for you and want to help you, and they're not. You know how you get to people is when they're vulnerable and they feel like they don't have anyone on their side, and so that's the best time to strike. You have to be mindful for you, not only you, for everyone else around you, your family, your grandparents, and your parents, because people will love to take advantage of the elderly. If you have grandparents or your parents in a nursing home, you have to be the one over there. You have to make a presence. You have to be a presence in their life, because I know by firsthand, we had a group of ladies. We used to go to the nursing home and visit people that really are in there by themselves. And it hurt me because there would be when people there with bruises, and you, by the look on their face, if you ask them what happened, they would not tell. Well, of course they're not going to tell, because they still have to live there. There was a woman a black woman there. She didn't have family, but she had won so many. She was a big person in the community for change and to stand up, and she had so many awards and nobody even knew that there, to even give her a ceremony every once in a while, because for all the things that she did for her community. And she was blind, and we went to visit her. Now, if you think my mother was worse. My mother did not play. When she stood up, when she was the soldier for the Lord, that woman was on fire. And so we noticed one time we came and she had hot coffee, in front of her on her table. So of course my mom, well, who is this for? And, well, it's for Miss So-and-so. Why would you give a blind person hot coffee? Because because you don't take the time. These are elderly people that have already contributed to their country, who probably had to go through a lot of things that we didn't have to help their community and help change. And then you get stuck, you just get pushed into a place where you're a number that you're really not cared about, because all you're looked at is a burden, another patient that someone has to deal with after they just dealt with someone over here. And so it depends on how they're feeling, how you get treated. Yeah, they complain and things go, but it doesn't change. So if you by chance do have no choice but to put your family in the nursing home, as long as you make sure that they know you are a permanent fixture here, your family will be okay, because they don't know when you'll show up. They don't know when you'll come to ask what were they fed. I want to see their medicine chart. I want to see their records for, because nursing home will take all your money and leave you with nothing. And at least if they have someone who cares about them, they're not likely to be abused or mistreated. In other countries, the elderly are held in they're taken good care of. They understand they might not have gotten here without those people, that they didn't have to struggle as hard because of those people. And so they're treated accordingly. They're taken care of. Old people in America are treated like trash. Some are just, some people just, if they're at home, because some family members like to leave their parents at home because then they don't have to spend all the money for to put them in a facility, but they're still not being taken care of. They're being left in the bed to get sores, and so that keeps giving them infections, and then they keep going back and forth to the hospital, and then their will to continue to live goes down, because who wants to live like that? Who wants to live out their days laying in a bed, wondering when's their, when their next meal? Is just sad. It's sad. It's we should be ashamed. We should be we should be just lowering our heads and asking for forgiveness. These are the same people who, when your mother was going through something and she couldn't make ends meet or whatever, that your grandmother made sure that everybody ate. They made sure that no lights got turned off, or that they helped with school clothes or whatever. These are the people. But we like to treat other people differently because it's all about the appearance. We want people to think we're good and we're this and we're that when we're really not. So we pretend to other people so that we can hear, oh, so and so donated backpacks to the kids at school. That's nice, and that is nice. But what are you doing the rest of the month? School starts in August or whatever, ends in June. What are you doing on the other months? If you're called to be to help people, or to be your brother's keeper. Don't be your brother's keeper when there's cameras and they're doing a story of the neighborhood boys and girls club, and you just so happen to be donating something, and you get to be on the news that day. A silent worker, a person who truly cares about people and wants to help people, work in silence. Because no one has to know what you do for other people. Nobody has to know, because God already knows. So you don't have to tell God, I went out and bought backpacks and school supplies and shoes for, the less fortunate. You don't have to tell him that. He already knows. And you don't have to tell anyone else. Unless that's the main reason for doing it. Yeah, working in silence. Nobody has to know anything that you do or have done. And if you're one of those people who do announce what you do, I wouldn't want to be one of the people that you do it for. Because you don't really care. You're not doing it because you care about me. You want me to come up or be a better person, or to help me come up. You want to do it so that people can tell you how great you are and how many people that you've helped, and that person was down and out, and you're the one that brought them back to the, yeah. Just leave me where I'm at. God will make a way for me. Just be mindful. Do not let your entertainment time flow on the uh, on your learning, your education time. You have to wonder what happened to so and so who was just in the news. Um, you have to wonder why they're not telling you about all the young black women who are missing and have been going missing for the last few months, and they don't put their names or their faces out there. They do on YouTube, and nobody really other than their family is looking for them, including children, babies, and so when people feel like you don't care, nobody cares about you, they can take those people because they feel like nobody's going to look for them. um, Nobody cares if they're gone. If we see and I know people don't like to get involved, and I understand that, because getting involved in other people's situations and you really don't know what's going on can cause issues for yourself, and I understand that. I truly understand that. You just have to know that when you serve the Lord, he gives you, it's just like that little thing you have inside that tells you don't do that, or maybe you shouldn't. You just need to walk with the Lord all the time. He has to be with you every day. You have to continuously pray and ask the Lord to guide you, because I'm pretty sure that the people that I know on here couldn't walk past an elderly woman being beaten and someone trying to steal her purse. I I don't think someone, maybe they could. I don't know. But we have to take back the power that we've allowed the criminals from higher up to low to down low. Take back the power from them. They know that they have us afraid to talk. The government knows they have us afraid to open our mouth and say things for in fear that we will be punished. The criminals know that we are afraid of a group of young men who have weapons and that are jumping on an old man or whatever, and there's only one of you. They know that you're afraid to, or a group of you afraid to intervene. God gives us he gives us sense. He gives us, not to jump in there and, but what you can't, but there's certain things that some people just have the ability to talk to people or have the ability to be able to smooth out situations. They're good mediators. You might be I'm sure she doesn't have a lot of money. Here, I'm going to give you mine. Or, sir, this is someone's grandmother. You wouldn't want anyone to do this. And that's just taking a chance because they might not care about their grandmother either. I don't know. I just think that we sometimes have to stand up for something. We almost are like during the time when, they were first freed and they're trying to make a life for themselves. They were still being petrified and and tormented and stalked, and they had to bow their heads and try to be as humble as possible to live, try to have some kind of normalcy in their lives. And that's kind of what they want us to do now. So if you're one of those they'll call you uppity, an uppity. If you don't, basically still, yes sir, no sir, nickel bag full sir, any of that, then you're uppity, and then they feel disrespected because you're beneath them. So that's just how you can. That's how you choose to live your life. No one can make anyone. If you just want to just live your life in peace, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I can understand. I truly, I just pray for those people. I truly understand. There's not a lot of people want to deal with that. They're not equipped to have to fight and go through that. So no one's blaming anyone. I just want the people who are tired of the way things are going, the way things have been going, if they just think of a way to even make a little bit of a change. Doesn't have to be much. Maybe you can sign up to be a big brother a couple of hours a day to a child that doesn't have a father or brothers or something. Give him a chance to learn that he doesn't have to be on the street or doing bad things, because that doesn't define who he is. I think if we can just if you don't have the ability to understand who you are, and I know it's hard to understand who you really are in a place that doesn't really want you here, doesn't want to give you an opportunity, doesn't consider you priority, or doesn't even consider you a part of this country. But that doesn't mean that you're not. That doesn't mean that they can make you feel like that. That they have the last word. That what they say is the answer. Is what they're telling you. That's the answer. You're not a part of this country. We're not. We're tired. We really wish, and they like to say that. Go back to Africa. No, you go back to Europe. You can't send me back somewhere that I've never been. So this is not to incite hatred or bad feelings towards any race. It's not to make someone feel any kind of way, bad or good, towards any race. It's about giving my people, other people of color, pride, and giving them putting them in the place that they belong. They're not below. They're not far over in the corner. They're just not scattered because they don't have a place. They have a place, and that's right in the center of America. The place that your ancestors built off of their blood, sweat, and tears, that your grandparents, your grandmother had to take care of their children and other people's children when the children's parents were taken away or the baby was taken away. They had to come together and do what was right. There was no time to think about, I have kids of my own, I'm not going to take care of them. There was no time for what we're not going to do. It had to be done, and it was done. I just hope that black people somehow, some way, take pride in themselves and understand that if you're not going to be here past the age of 21, we might be missing out on a politician. We might be missing out on the next leader, the next person who will inspire black men and women to go on and be the best that they can be and change things. We need to change our ways of thinking and our mindsets and stop living in the what is the word? We're living out a video life. Stop living in a video life. It's just a video. When they turn the camera off, it's over. So, all the gold chains and the rings and the clothes and the whatever that you walk around and you jump up and down, and that's just a video life. That's not real. That's not how they live every single day. That's just for the video, because they really take their jewelry, and most of the time it sits in a vault or safe, and they're really not wearing it. They might have all those cars you see, but they're not driving them, because you can only drive one car at a time. And once you start driving and you're depreciating the value of the car, they might need to sell that car one day. Decide what is important in your life. Decide who's important in your life and focus on that. Don't let them throw the monkey wrench. Don't let them give you a piece of this and then take it away, and then you throw something else at you, and then you're forgot about what this was over here, and you're now focused on this, and then it's just confusing because you can't remember what you was focused on the first time, because they took that away, and now they don't want you to focus on that. They want you to focus on this. They want you to focus on the rapper who decided that he was going to go to hell and be with Satan sexually. I can't think of his name. They want you to look at him walking down the street with no clothes on. So you can talk about that for a few weeks, because we got something over here we want to sweep under the rug. So talk about him for a while. Talk about Tamar Braxton for a while, for whatever reason. I don't know, because I don't even know what's going on with that. Talk about Rashida and Kurt. Talk about Justin Bieber. Talk about Usher, who's supposedly now ready to talk. Talk about Jamie Foxx and his him letting everyone know that his friend tried to unalive him. Talk about all the people the stars that they have found out are now all infected with the same thing. Because we're sweeping this under the rug. We don't want you to look over here. We got things we're doing over here. So we need you to focus on this. The rappers who are saying they're coming out, and then the rapper here, look at Baby with his mini skirt and his half top on. Talk about him, because this is what we want. This is what we told him to do, because we need him to distract, so that we can do this behind the scenes. Yeah. So that's all that I have for today. Um, if anyone has anything that they want to discuss or want to talk about, just put it in the chat. I'm I'm happy to do that because I want it to be a discussion everyone is interested in. Um, and I don't want it just to be me talking. Um, I want to hear other people's opinion and how they feel because I am still learning, and it's better with people just sitting around the round table and talking about things and trying to get things to change or trying to just reach out to some people, and then those people reach out to someone else. You can't do it without God. We can't fight the devil without God. That's just no ifs, ands about it. We are not stronger than him. We are not stronger than him and his soldiers. We're not stronger than any evil on this earth. So if you're not willing to put God first, then you're not willing to try to make a change. And I didn't say change your life and work, come to him and worship. I said he needs to be at forefront as far as, keeping us safe, helping us to be brave and not afraid to voice your opinion, not afraid that if you do that someone's going to come after you, and just not afraid. Be like some of the people in the Bible. Now, if a king told me that he was going to throw me in a furnace or throw me in a lion's den, would I have been willing to walk into those places? Well, Daniel did, and God made those lions lay down. They did not touch him. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was in the furnace, and they know they only put 3 people in there, but when they opened the furnace, there was 4. Nobody was burnt. Nobody was singed. Nobody was on fire. You have to have the faith of a mustard seed and let God grow it into a 6-foot tree. So until next time,